The Phantom Grey 2017 Cadillac ATS Premium Performance model you see here has all the right stuff to be a world-class sports sedan: a solid, lightweight platform, rear-wheel drive, a high-revving 3.6-litre V6 with 335 naturally aspirated horsepower, a snappy 8-speed automatic transmission, adaptive, adjustable magnet or geological dampers, a limit-slip differential, and staggered width summer tires. Stir-in options such as the Sport Red painted Brembo calipers with slotted rotors and upgraded pads, performance exhaust, a sports suspension upgrade, and an interior richer than a Parisian house of ill repute, and we've got ourselves a Ford or Chevy Camaro V6 in a Hugo Boss suit. Or at least that's what it should have been. Despite the impressive arsenal of equipment, this Cadillac turned in a rather mediocre performance. Not what we expected from a car that seemed to be just a pair of turbochargers and a brace of Recaro seats away from being an ATS V. Now in its 5th year of production, the ATS has evolved too little where it counts. At the time of its introduction, its alpha rear drive platform and optimized suspension geometry raised the standard for compact luxury sedan handling, and we said as much in a comparison test between the 2013 ATS and its performance bogey, the BMW 328i. Despite the Caddy's tremendous cornering acumen, which it possesses to this day, it lost that comparison test between the turbocharged 4-cylinder models. In 2013, the 3.6-litre V6 version came in third in a three-way comparison against the BMW 335i and the Lexus IS 350F Sport. Why? Because there's more to a luxury sports sedan than its ability to ride and handle. For starters, there's the powertrain. Since we first tested a 2013 ATS 3.6 sedan with its 6-speed automatic transmission, both its 3.6-litre V6 and the gearbox have been replaced. With 335 horsepower at 6,800 revolutions per minute and 285 lb-ft of torque at 5,300 revolutions per minute, the new 3.6-litre makes 14 horsepower and 10 lb-ft of torque more than did its similarly sized predecessor, and with 8 speeds rather than 6, the new transmission, in theory, should be able to make the most of its enhanced output. Yet, this car needed 5.6 seconds to get to 60 miles per hour, 0.2 seconds behind the 2013 model. The same gap is found at the quarter-mile mark, which the 8-speed ATS hit in 14.2 seconds at 100 miles per hour. Perhaps more worrisome, its 0 to 60 mph time was also 0.2 seconds slower than the ATS 2.0 TAWD we tested last year, a car that weighed 9 pounds more than this one. The 8-speed, it appears, has been geared and calibrated with far more interest in fuel economy than in performance. Blame, too, the V6's lack of low-end torque, being 10 lb-ft shy of the peak figure produced by Cadillac's turbocharged 2.0-litre 4 and far behind the higher performance variants of its competitive set, such as the BMW 340i, the Mercedes-AMG C43, and the Infiniti Q50 Red Sport 400. With more abundant torque at lower RPM, thank you, turbochargers, each of those cars easily makes the 0 to 60 mph hustle in the mid for second range and offers better mid-range power than the ATS 3.6, which must be wound nearly to its 7,000 revolutions per minute red line before it feels like it's on a boil. That's a task we rather enjoy in, say, a Camaro V6 1-litre E with a manual transmission, but in this car, it's somewhat out of character. Sure, the ATS has shift paddles, but few will want to use them all the time. Speaking of the Camaro, in that car the same V6 emits a sound that we've described as a heady tenor snarl, but this Cadillac's performance exhaust system, a $1,650 option, produces more of a drummy blat, and that blat is too loud. From outside, however, the car sounds badass. Remember the old Infiniti G35? Yeah, kinda like that. The chassis, though, is as competent as ever. This example came with every conceivable performance enabler, and we'd hoped that would help the Bristone summer tyres hold on to a 300-foot diameter circle with more than the 0.90 grams of lateral grip we measured on the skid pad. Still, 0.90 grams remains at the competitive end of the sports sedan spectrum. More to the point, it felt right, with perfectly weighted steering and little perceptible body roll. Braking also was impressive, with the ATS requiring just 156 feet to stop from 70 miles per hour, among the shortest distances in the segment. What didn't feel right was the ATS's packaging. Undeniably dressy, the ATS is nonetheless greying at the temples, turning 0 heads as far as we could tell. The dashboard remains a mishmash of capacitive touch sliders and buttons on which one is never quite sure where to press, on the silver parts or on the shiny black regions just above them. The GU infotainment system is a well-documented source of madness that is offset somewhat by the friendly folks at OnStar who relieve subscribers from the need to enter destinations into the navigation system themselves, instead allowing simple voice commands. Also on the plus side, the clever if confusing at first hidden storage bin behind the motorized central dash panel contains an inductive charging station as well as a USB port. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are supported, and all works as intended. The rest of the interior gives no respite to the eye. The designers deserve credit for blessing the Cadillac with a rich mix of materials, but when the passenger side dash is covered with leather, suede microfiber, carbon fiber, and a hard plastic lower section, one gets the sense that designers are hitting too many notes to make them all sing in harmony. It gets worse in back. While the seatbacks on our test car wore more suede microfiber, the plastic on the back side of the center console could have come out of any of General Motors' 1990s compact cars, if not for the two tiny air vents and the 110-volt AC and 12-volt DC power outlets. A simpler, clean interior rendered with a narrower array of exquisite, and only exquisite, materials would be better. Folks like being offered a choice among 31 flavors of ice cream, but no one orders them all in one cup. The ATS already had a mid-cycle refresh in 2015, but Cadillac missed that opportunity to take this car to another level. It made cursory exterior changes and only slightly alleviated the issues with the GU interface. It didn't even rid the car of that dust-attracting piano black trim that looks so good in designer sketches but cheapens the cabin once the fingerprints, scratches, and debris inevitably accumulate. A complimentary Cadillac branded dust cloth is not a solution. The ATS was conceived to beat the BMW 3 Series, and when it was launched in 2012, it almost did. But it never actually has, and the narrow margins by which it missed the mark 5 years ago appear to be widening, to say nothing of the fresher challengers such as the Jaguar X, Audi A4, Mercedes-Benz Class, and more. As it stands today, the ATS remains an awesome chassis topped by a good, but not great, design effort. Maybe next time out, it really will be best in class.
Yeah.